Trump's anti-immigration campaign distraction has made cocaine cheaper. This is one of the byproducts. I just reported. Do you need me to read that again? Trump's anti-immigration campaign distraction has made cocaine cheaper. Here's what's going on. While Trump is busy having ICE snatch grandparents and random people off the streets and having agents taken off drug trafficking, cocaine is having no trouble crossing the border, making it cheaper and easier to obtain. Price reduction, no tariffs on it, huh? The price of cocaine has fallen dramatically thanks to President Trump and Stephen Miller's anti-immigration efforts. The availability of high-quality product has driven the price of cocaine to $60 a gram. It's roughly half of what it was 5 years ago. But 154% more Americans are consuming coke since 2019. So this is how too many are escaping. Cocaine sold in the US is cheaper and as pure as ever for retail buyers. Consumption in the Western United States has increased 154% since 2019, and it's up 19% during the same period in the eastern part of the country, according to the drug testing company Millennium Health. Daily Beast with the reporting. In contrast, fentanyl use in the US began dropping mid-2023. It's been declining since, according to data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. For new users, cocaine doesn't carry the stigma of fentanyl addiction. But the Trump administration has their eyes on the most powerful drug trafficker operation in the world. Today, the State Department announces a reward increase of up to $15 million for information leading to the arrest and or conviction of Cheng, not sure how to pronounce it. He's a leader, though. Nemesio Ruben Asaguera Cervantes, aka El Mencho. Information regarding El Mencho should be reported to the DEA. And if they're offering $15 million, they want him bad. The rise of Nemesio Mencho Osaguera to becoming Mexico's top drug kingpin when the Trump administration cracked down on fentanyl, it focused its efforts on the Sinaloa cartel, which rose to prominence peddling the narcotic. As fentanyl sales have dipped, El Mencho's new generation cartel, which trades in cocaine, rose to the top. You see how that works? But the Trump administration is slowing its own promises. Despite El Mencho's notoriety, the Journal says the Trump administration gave the kingpin a gift by focusing its efforts on its immigration, which have been spearheaded by Miller, Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. Adam Downer of the Daily Beast with this reporting. And then there was the whole thing about blowing up boats that might not even have drugs on them. Remember that one? They were so proud of it too. Over the past 2 weeks, the Trump administration has attempted to project strength against the drug trade by blowing up 2 boats off the coast of Venezuela that they stated were carrying drugs. In neither case did the administration present evidence to substantiate those claims. Well, they blew everything up. So we'll just have to take their word for it. They blew it to smithereens. This does bring up an interesting point, and not a good one, Jackson, that when you focus so much efforts, resources, money, literally taking money from this pot to that pot on this whole immigration thing to meet one man's stated goals and ego, right? Because there's not that many violent criminals to round up. Other things will falter that'll have really dire consequences for some people in some corners of society.
Well, first, I'd like to say this is cocaine being cheaper is undoubtedly great news for many. But
Jesus.
hey, I mean, it is what it is. And also, I just wanted to say that to lead into the reality that, like, what is blowing up a couple boats going to do? At the end of the day, you're murdering people, you're killing people, and we don't have the right to just do that. On top of the fact that there's an entire built-in economy that operates around the drug trade because Americans love drugs. Like this, we can't do enough of it. And not only that, but the United States itself allows pharmacies and corporations to sell as many drugs as they want to people. Every other commercial that you see on television is some drug commercial, and at the end of the commercial, they like, if this drug doesn't help you, it might kill you. Like, so make sure you call, if your eyes start bleeding, like, or if your feet fall off, just call your doctor. And like, they don't do nothing but advertise drugs to us. This is the kind of nation that this is. The prison industrial complex is built off of people being arrested for having bags of drugs on them. So nothing is changing. The only thing that will change any of this is if we change the drug laws themselves, make a system that goes more towards rehabilitation, and take away the power of cartels to make money at all, or deeply or greatly lessen their ability to do so by legalizing, taxing, and regulating drugs. Yeah, I mean, if you really want to do something about it, that's what we got to do. There's really no other way to do it. Obviously, I'm sure that there's plenty of very brilliant people who could at least debate this topic, but this is the direction that we need to be going. We need to be getting away from the punitive measures and treating this more of an issue that, okay, our system stimulates this, and people who struggle with drug addiction, we shouldn't look down on them. We should help them.
So your point is drugs are here to stay. We might as well take some of the danger out of it, the profit for the criminals out of it, legalize it, and people will partake in drugs. Not all of them are addicts. Others we can more readily help. Is that
Yeah.
is that the understanding?
Yeah, well, I mean, just in general, if you, so for instance, like cocaine is and like methamphetamine are amphetamines, but so is Ritalin, so is Adderall. So are ADHD medications, speed. They're all amphetamines. They all come from the same type of chemical compounds. Opiates that are sold legally to people, it's the same thing as heroin and fentanyl, just a little different type. It's regulated. It's probably safer if you take it in the dosage that you're supposed to do. So, like you can take over the counter cocaine basically with Ritalin. It hits your system differently. Coke only lasts for about maybe 20 or so minutes. That's why you got to keep on banging it. And it comes with a lot of issues. But like Ritalin, Adderall, they may have like 4 to 9 to 12-hour releases, and people can use them more practically. So we already do these drugs legally all the time. And so if we can change our thinking about how we see them, then that can also lead us down a path to where we can, not just be throwing people in prison for a system that stimulates us doing drugs in the first place. The reason it is so easy to get like any drug you want because they're not regulated and because they're illegal. You can't just get Adderall and oxycodone or whatever type of prescription medication. You can't just go get that, but you can go pretty much anywhere and get you some coke, get you some heroin, get you some whatever, because it's not regulated. So
Well,
if we
that's
just
true.
yeah.
I remember as school was about to start, reading an article about how Adderall was in short supply or something, and people couldn't get it. Going back to college, going back to high school or whatever, and it was prescribed for them. It's interesting. You seem to know a lot about it and speaking intelligently about it. It's a science game, but a dangerous one if we continue this current climate. Anyway, $15 million. If you've seen El Mencho, make sure you, if you're that kind of person, turn them in, I guess.